welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk, and this, my friends, is the Thunder Show, aka the Internet's most passionate wine program, episode 701. Mott, we're into the 700s. It's a big deal. We've got some comments to read from episode 700. Got a little information on these amazing cheeses here. Put this over here. We're doing an episode on Super Tuscans. That's right, Super Tuscans. You see that spray of saliva there? Who named them? Robert Parker. Probably when it's all said and done, one of the bigger he has in his career. 82 Bordeaux really kind of made him. Super Tuscan, a term that's used by so many wine aficionados and wine collectors and wine peeps every day. A term he coined. One day when everybody's saying the oak monster, I can take credit for that. But this is definitely an amazing category of wines. IGTs, wines that don't follow the DOC or the DOCG classifications. People wanted freedom. They didn't want communism kind of stuff. Late 70s, 68. San Felice Vigorello, I think 68. Sassicaia gets a lot of credit for being the first. But San Felice Vigorello, 68. 1968, great year. Jets won the Super Bowl on January 12th. It was the season of 68, Mott, so we should talk about that a little bit later. We're always willing to talk that. But Super Tuscans have definitely been a romance of the wine industry, especially here in the U.S., for a long time. Really hit its fever pitch with the 97 vintage a little while ago. 2001's also got a lot of attention, but really the climax, it's a great word, the climax was definitely the 97 vintage. There has been a softening of interest in this category over the last half decade to 7 years, but it's still a very powerful part of the world, producing some very interesting wines and some great cheeses. Pecorino, this one has ash, a little ashiness. Show the maniacs the ashiness. So we'll get into a little cheese pairing at the end. It's really more for show today. I won't really go that into it, but I'll taste it towards the end. 3 big boy Super Tuscans with price points well into the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Super Tuscans have fallen out of fashion as people continue to look for better price point wines. But I haven't done anything on Super Tuscans in a while. This wine is what really spurred the show today. I'm going to start with it in a little bit. The Felsina Fontalloro. The Fontalloro is a wine that a lot of people talk about. It got a big spectator score the other day, so there's been a lot of demand, a little hype around it. So we'll taste that in a second. Let's read some comments before we read the comments, you may notice our surroundings are a little different. We made our first design change in a long time. There's a little button over here because I am part of the Food Network New York Wine Festival, New York Food and Wine Festival. And so I have an event, limited tickets. But about 3 or 4 Vaniacs emailed me the last couple days wanting to fly out, wanting to make sure I'm definitely going to be there. Yes, I'm definitely going to be there. I don't know, there's a weird reputation of why would I not be there? I'm always at my events. So it's right over here. Mott, link it up as well. And I hope I see you there. I'm bringing some serious thunder to this event. Please come. Afterwards, we can go to drink at the bar. Kahuna, you better be there. You're in New York every night at the strip clubs anyway. All right, here we go. First comment from Gonsaurus Rex says, "Hey Gary, haven't commented in a long time. I've been busy. No excuse. Almost my 21st. Young guy. On September 6th. Great job in the 88. Good year. Understood. His birth year. Anyway, question of the day. I really remember the episode and sequel, 628 and 29. Your guest, Nicholas Jolie. He was a great guest. Biodynamics and nature assistance. He was very popular, Mott. You notice a lot of Nicholas Jolie love. With Dad, also, and 148 was an overwhelming fan. Kirk says, what about going to more wineries around Long Island this year? Question mark. I read this for a reason. I won't go into why. Eric F. says, congrats on episode 700. I've been on board since late 07. Love all your shows, but still, by far my favorite, and to answer the question today, is episode 605 with Hendrik Thoma. Gotta bring him back for another show. He was very popular as well. I liked him. He was a good dude. We might bring him back. And Amno Pino says, they're all good, but I have to pick one. Episode 737, hands down, was my favorite. The way you sang the Canadian national anthem in praise to the wines of British Columbia really got to me. Keep it up, G. He goes on to say other things, clearly saying 737 is not here, but the pressure's on, Mott. Okay. I think I got it. All right. Wine. Super Tuscans. Expensive, but delicious and yummy, and very much in play with other categories like Bordeaux and Cabernet from Napa Valley. So a part of the world that is so romanced here in the States. I mean, everybody likes Tuscany. As a matter of fact, I don't like Tuscany because everybody wants to go to Tuscany. You speak to anybody, they're like, where do you want to go? I want to go to Tuscany. It's so popular. It's such a popular place in the world to travel, especially from here in the States. And they make some really seriously great wines. Sangiovese, Cab, Merlot. These grapes all do extremely well in this part of the world. And Cab Franc, Petit Verdot, a very sweet spot for good wines. Sometimes, albeit a little bit uninspiring and not differentiated enough for my palate, but continue to put out wines that sell, have demand, though a clear softening in the last half decade. It's undeniable. The traffic and the excitement towards Super Tuscan wines today is absolutely much softer than it was 5 years ago. First wine, the Felsina, which is a great Chianti producer, Fontalloro, 2005 vintage. This wine rolls in at $38 US. Used to be John McGraw's number. It's a little fun fact, second round pick. Kansas State of the Jets, never panned out. 93 points, Wine Spectator, 38 bones. Fontalloro. This wine is 100%, 100% Sangiovese. All right, let's give it a sniffy sniff. It's got great color, no denying that. Sniffy sniff time. Some plum action on the nose, which I like a little bit. Pretty tight nose though. 05 vintage, pretty sought after year. A lot of hype around it, a little more exciting than some of the 06s for a lot of people. This has a classic rustic, copper penny nail kind of thing that a lot of Sangios have on the nose. I appreciate the dark red fruit. Who's that hooligan?
Probably the furniture.
The furniture maker. That dude looks rugged. I liked him though. Might be the bodyguard. All right. Good red fruit. Did I say hooligan? I'm really proud of myself. There's a word I didn't expect on the show. Good bright red fruit, little strawberry jam action. Did I just whistle a little bit? I mean, this show is really going in the direction that I like it in. This is good. Strawberry, little that copperness that I talk about. Almost makes me think of like roasted red peppers. Let's give it a whirl. This is the baby Pecorino Fresca, aged for only 15 to 20 days. And this is the Pecorino Baggio Ash. Baggio means gray, or Biggio, probably Biggio. Like that ash? I like it. So these are the Pecorino cheeses that I have alongside with me, which I'm excited about. So you may see me nibble on them a little bit. This wine has really nice firm tannins. It's a very young baby. Just a young little baby, just like little Misha, just a little girl. I mean, this wine has at least 7, 10, 15 years in the cellar capability, clearly, with great firm back-end tannins. However, it's pretty silky smooth considering how young it is. And it's also very bright in its fruit. The red fruit, the strawberries, the cherries that this wine brings to the table are very much not subtle. They're not undeniable, but they're not fruit bombs. There's no sugar level or overdone. It's really kind of balanced and it's well made. I'm actually quite impressed with this. Ironically, this is a wine traditionally that I've not been as big of a fan of as other people that I've known. I mean, even going back to the 95 vintage, which was quite hyped, I was never all about it. Kind of like Bruce Springsteen, I'm just not there. Anyway, let's give no shot. Why did I diss Bruce Springsteen? There's no reason to take a shot at the boss.
Anytime someone disses him is fine.
I mean, Jersey. Nathan the intern, what do you think about Bruce?
I'm a little after his time.
You can't be after Bruce Springsteen's time. He's iconic.
I'm not that big of a fan of him.
Well, good. Then we're all on the same page. You're not. What do you think of Elvis? Is that too out of your time? The Beatles, out of your time?
I love the Beatles.
You love the Beatles?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say they're out of your time? I mean, I don't know if you know, but Bruce is still alive and very much.
They transcend generations, though.
They transcend, whereas Bruce, you felt like was just a guy. Yeah. Whereas the Beatles are Hall of Famers, you look at Bruce as a consistent all-star.
It's a good analogy.
Thank you. I'm good at analogies. That's why I do the Thunder Show. Let's get back into the vino, people. This wine is good. I'm impressed with it. And I like it. I think Spectator really hit the nail on the head. I think what you're going to like and what I like about this wine is its balance. This wine has really good structure, very drinkable, yet clearly tells you, you like me now? Wait till you see me then. It's kind of like, LeBron. So I really think this wine has 92 plus points written all over it. I really like it. I'm very impressed with the price point. I'm actually acting a little weird if you sense it, you longtime Vaniacs that watch every show. I'm really caught off guard. I mean, this is really a lot better. I mean, it's probably a wine that consistently has got 92, 93, 94 point scores, and I've never liked. I don't know what's tickling my fancy here. Maybe it's Nathan the intern's in the house, but I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's showing really well, and it's a good wine. I mean, I would even beg to say that there are very few $38 wines downstairs in the store that are coming out these days that are much better wines than this. I mean, this is really nice. It's good wine. Nice pie. Good start. Okay. La Serra Nueve del Ornellaia. That's right. Ornellaia, the $150 producer, has a slower... Not slower, that's not fair. A lower level red wine, the 06 Bolgheri Rosso. 94 points. Antonio Galani, who writes for Robert Parker's Wine Advocates, a huge score from him. He is a very tough critic. He does not throw numbers around that easily. 46 bones, 50% Merlot, 35% Cabernet Sauvignon, 9 Cab Franc, and 6 Petit Verdot. As everybody knows, or a couple people know, I'm a huge fan of Petit Verdot, and it's always good to see it part of the blend. 46 bones, pricey, but an Ornellaia wine at 46 bones, to a lot of people, not so pricey. Great colors, a little more vibrant. Wouldn't you say there's a little more vibrancy to the color of this wine? It's a little bit more vibrance. Let's give it a sniffy sniff. A little like a radish play, little radishes coming through. Quite floral, also a little lilac. Pansies coming through a little bit. So very floral in its approach. Black currant, little cassis-ness coming through. Little creaminess as well. I almost get a little hint, like a shot of vanilla on the back end. Little mocha. Let's give it a whirl. Now this wine, much more so than the last wine, is a little bit more for you New World lovers. To me, this is a Napa, California Cab, Barossa Shiraz, Spanish Priorat lovers, Italian wine. This is a little more creaminess. The oak is a little bit more obvious. There's a little more of that cinnamon, eggnog, woodiness coming, kind of like eggnog on top of a bark, kind of like, take like a toy made from the 70s out of wood, put some eggnog on it, bite it, kind of woodiness, but a little old, a little retro flavor to it. Always fun to taste retro. So a little of that nuance. I like that cinnamon aspect. That's where that eggnog kind of thing comes into play for me. Big, meaty. It's a meaty wine. Kind of gamey, almost like Serrano ham kind of flavors. Licorice is a factor on the back end as well. But this undeniable vanilla mocha, Starbucksy kind of thing with the strawberries, the red fruit. It's a good wine. It's a little too New World for me. I'm really surprised Galoni went this high, especially based on some of the things I've seen him like in the past. It's a little too New World for me. It's well made, but it's far from staggering, and it's definitely not changing my life. I like it, but I think it's an 89, 90 point type wine. I definitely don't think it's 94 points. I think it's structured and it's well made. I have no qualms about that. I think it's over oaked slightly. I think it's missing a little soul. It's a good solid. pretty girl or pretty guy with a solid personality, but just missing that spark that makes you want to put the ring on the finger. I do not want to take this and put it on the wine. No, I don't. Hang out a little bit? Sure. Hook up once or twice? Definitely. Marriage? No way. I'm going 89 plus points on this because I'm going to go 89 plus points on this. I definitely wouldn't spend the 46 bones, but look at this one more time. I mean, look how pretty is this piece of cheese. I will say that this is where, in my personal eating, drinking wine world, when I have something that is not grossly over the top carnival ride, like insanity, not a fruit bomb to that level, but just this, just not a hair, but enough overboard for my palate. I love getting, cheese and kind of like mixing it into rotation. Some chalky cheese. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, right away, the cheese and the fat get overpowered by the fruity, balmy Super Tuscan. It's just a hair off. It's just a hair off. I just, to me, it's like, just like Scott Norwood, right? I mean, can you imagine just a little bit and everything's different? That's how I feel about that. Google him, non-sports fans. All right, let's move on. Wine number 3. Mott, do you want a little Il Pino? 2005 Il Pino Tuscan, 65 bones, 95 points Wine News, 92 points Antonio Galani, 35% Cabernet Franc, 30% Cabernet Sauvignon, 20% Merlot, and 15% Petit Verdot. So Cabernet Franc and Petit Verdot heavy, 50% between the two of them. That excites me. On paper, 65 bones, not so much. Been doing some expensive wines lately. We're going to need to bring it back to the old school Mott. We need to make that focus. I apologize. We'll definitely bring it back to the price points that are attainable. Sniffy sniff. Wow. Mott, please give that a sniffy sniff. Nathan, the intern, I know you're 20, but you'll give it a sniffy sniff. That is one green vegetable. Don't be mad at celery and green peas. What do you think?
Yeah.
Green, right? Now, you know how much I like green. You want to smell it a little more, Nathan?
No, I'm good.
You don't like that smell?
No, I actually do.
You do, right?
Yeah.
Mott, you don't.
It's not my cup of tea.
It's pretty green.
Yeah.
I mean, this smells like the color green, which is good, because it could be like money. But no, really, I mean, this really has a vegetal component to it. Celery, Brussels sprouts, very garden-like on the nose, which is fine, especially for my palate. I tend to like that, but I want you to know what you're getting into. Again, 85% of you are going to like this wine, so keep that in mind. Trust your own palate. Don't listen to me. Or mine. All right, let's give it one more sniffy sniff. Yeah, I mean, very, very green leaf, lawn, little luxury lawn action there. Just like really interesting things like that. All right, let's give this a whirl. This wine is baffling me. There's a dark horse chance that I hate this wine. Give me one shit. Wow. Hello, 1 second. There's so much green, like spinach and all that kind of flavors going on, that it's almost hiding the fact that this is very creamy, creamsicle, oaky on the palate. It's so distinctly opposite that when they come together, it creates this insane brouhaha, vocab word, a brouhaha of different flavors that partially make me love it and partially make me hate it. And I'm going to lean towards the hate because the oakiness and the vanilla over-the-topness is absurd, and even the green vegetal aspect is kind of demystifying on the palate. Give it one more shot. Weird. Yeah, I'm going to score this wine 86 points and give it a major pass at this price point. Hold on. I'm like trying to figure that wine out. Very interesting wine. If you've ever had the Il Pino 2005, please leave a comment. I'd love to get some thoughts. I'm quite baffled by it. Just making sure that my palate didn't change with a cheese or somewhere along the line. This was a very interesting show for me. These last two wines did not do it for me. This was close. This is weird. Ma, what do you think of this wine? And don't, what do you think?
Ooh, no. I don't like that finish at all.
It was too green.
It's very green.
But you were liking it before then. Because that creaminess, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't bitter.
No, back end, a little bit.
But it's more that greenness.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like somebody stuck a lawn in your mouth.
It's feng shui is off.
Its feng shui is off.
It's off balance.
I definitely didn't expect you to say that. I like that though. Mon, are you coming to join me at the Food Network event? $99. I'll take it. All right. Super Tuscans, just to get a little more meat and potatoes. You see a lot of wines, they'll say DOCG or DOC. Those are classifications. In the late 60s, a lot of people, oh, you're hurting. Not making faces. Did not like that finish. Late 60s, a lot of people wanted to start experimenting, wanted to compete on the world stage, felt the laws were too rigid, started making some of these Super Tuscans. They were called VDTs, which really means Vino di Tavola, which means like village wines. So they're making expensive wines, $15 wines at the time, that were selling for $15, that with the classifications of wines that sold for 50 cents. So not like 50 cents. So what happened was there was a push, and really they came up with the IGT, which recognizes wines of great quality within that terroir. It's got to be so many wines that you're seeing out there will have we'll just go right in here, right here. If you notice, right there, you'll see the IGT terminology, and you'll see it, Indication Geográfico Típica, typical of the region, IGT, but higher than a VDT. So it's a little fun fact. Two wines, very disappointing. I'm sorry. I'm really kind of not happy for myself. I know you guys want me to call it a spade. I get all that. But I want to drink good wine. Question of the day. When I say Tuscany, you say, you, with a little bit of me, we are changing the wine.